Isaac, come in. Kendra's right. The ADS is completely shut. I'll need your help to fix this. Kendra, if you can hear me, see if you can get into the ship's reports. It sounds like you have better access from there.
When were you going to tell us about the artifact, Hammond? This marker?
I don't know anything about that. It's referenced in the captain's records. They brought it up from the planet.
It's on the ship?
In cargo. They think it's of alien origin, but I don't know what the hell it is.
Really? CEC didn't know anything about it. You're lying.
Back off! I am not the bad guy here. We're all shaky right now. You're gonna have to trust that I don't know anything about it. We've entered the debris field. Get to the captain's nest. I'll explain everything later. Hammer down.
So this is how Chapter 4 begins, and just like Chapter 3 before it, it's pretty lengthy. We're introduced to a new enemy type here, kind of like a mini-boss, and also to one of the hardest parts in this game, and it's really weird because up to this moment, it hasn't been really hard for any of the interactions between the monsters or anything like that. But for whatever reason, and I think anybody who has played this game will say that this part in Chapter 4 is really hard, and it's towards the end of this level. I'll elaborate more once we get to it. But it comes out of nowhere just how hard it is. And actually, you'll be doing the same thing later on in another chapter. Actually, in this very same area, too. So, yeah, it's really weird, but still very fun to play.
Isaac, impact on the bridge, right at your feet. I'm reading heavy damage, but containment looks solid. Life support is stabilized. We've got to get the ADS working.
And here we are, the bridge of the Ishimura. And we will be coming back here again in Chapter 8. So besides this area of the game, the first area in the game, the docking bay and the lab, are the only areas where we will have to return in later levels. But every other place we will not. For example, the engines room, we won't be able to return to there anytime soon. So one interesting aspect, and actually I read this, I didn't read it, I mean I've seen this on a video before, and how they were talking about the creators of this game, how they wanted to make the Ishimura look very skeletal in nature, and you can really see it here in the Ishimura itself, this brig right here, where you can see a lot of the columns are very like bone-like, very almost as if you're inside of a corpse, which is very reminiscent to the movie Alien when you enter the derelict ship. Yeah, so a nice little bit of information there.
Isaac. Damn, you scared me. The place is making me jumpy. Fucking asteroids coming through the roof. Look, I know Kendra doesn't trust me, but I don't know anything about a marker or anything else. This is supposed to be a repair mission. Plain and simple. This mess is the asteroid defense system. I can fix these boards when the main power routing is shot. You're gonna have to reroute them manually through at least 3 junction boxes to activate the primary cannon. Oh, but first, you need to activate the atrium elevators from bridge security. You can use them to get to the junction boxes. By the way, Isaac, be careful. I saw something out there. I don't know what. I only got a glimpse. It was big. Really big.
This part in the game is where we first encounter the first mini-boss, which technically is not a mini-boss. There's no mini-bosses in this game, they're just bosses. But I like to refer to this fight as a mini-boss. And here we're introduced to the Brute, which is a very formidable adversary. And one aspect of this Brute that you have to keep in mind is that you always have to be in motion. You can't be standing still, otherwise you're gonna die quickly. So just like what I'm doing right now, just keep on running away from it. Once you get a good enough shot, what I usually do is just slow it down with stasis right here. And just go behind it and start shooting in its back. One thing I forgot to do is that actually you can shoot the legs off of the Brute and it won't charge at you anymore, but I forgot that you can do that. However, once you shoot off its legs, and this caught me completely by surprise, is that it'll actually it'll actually shoot these projectiles at you, like these they're not rocks, but like it's just shooting like this vomit at you in a way, and if you're not careful, it will explode on contact. So yeah, so in a couple of shots it'll be down. So now that we killed off the Brute, we can plan on where we want to go next. We have restored the power to the elevator, so we can head to any of these 3 floors to restore the power for the cannons themselves. Not much happens in the 2 floors below us. You kill another Brute, some more necromorphs. You're introduced to a new mechanic where, if you're not careful, the floor will launch you up in the air and kill you instantly. But that's not repeated again until Chapter 9, if I do remember, yeah. You also find out how the captain of the Ishimura died, which it was not by necromorph, but more accidental. If you've seen the animated movie, you know just exactly how he died. But for right now, we're going to be heading to one floor in particular to highlight an interesting moment in this game. A great example of Isaac Clarke's dementia, or hallucinations, if you will. So, let's head on. So that was one of Isaac Clarke's many hallucinations throughout this game. As you can see in this room, a lot of the signs or the screens are going flickering weird and all red, and that's kind of indication of the marker's influence on the people here on the Ishimura. So that's a nice bit of environmental detail within this game. That character that Isaac Clarke just saw, or as in we saw, it didn't take me until multiple playthroughs until I realized the model that they used was actually the pilot, so the pilot of the Killian that we entered into the Ishimura. So I guess it's supposed to say that he's been converted into one of the many necromorphs here, because once we enter this room, you actually will encounter an advanced slasher and a pregnant, so I guess maybe he became one of these creatures, or that's just his dementia, I don't know. But it's a nice, weird moment in this game that, you know, it keeps you on edge. Also, we will be restoring the primary power onto the cannons themselves, and you'll be able to hear an interesting conversation between you and Hammond at this moment right here. So that's pretty much it for this area, and I will let you hear that segment right now.
primary oscillation power has been rerouted. Look, I don't know about you, but I think I'm seeing things. My head's pounding still. I don't know. Just stay sharp, okay?
The power has been restored, and we are heading to one of the cannons that unfortunately did not get full power. But in order to get there, we have to cross part of the Ishimura outside. So this is a really cool segment right here where you have to traverse this area in order to get into the cannon, and it's really cool because you gotta really time your moments right, otherwise you will pretty much die. So you have to use these areas, these like shields I guess, in order for you to avoid any damage. But it's kind of weird because only the area that you're standing in gets destroyed, but the other ones are still intact. So that's kind of weird. I don't know why it does that, but that's really interesting. And after 3 hits, I think, if I can remember, after 3 hits from the debris outside, the shield, or these shields, I guess, will eventually just be destroyed, and you have to find another location. Also, as you just saw a moment ago, some of them have tanks of oxygen on them, so you can refill them. However, I upgraded my oxygen tanks to maximum capacity, so it's not that much that I gotta worry, but still I gotta keep moving, you know, and avoid any damage along the way. Once you're done with this area, you'll be heading into the cannon, and once you're done with the cannon, you will return, and there will be a bunch of necromorphs waiting for you. However, I just avoid them, you know, why fight them out here, and I just skip them and just go back to the beginning of the level. So it's a really cool moment in the game, and it's only done once, surprisingly enough. So, you know, as I said before, any moment done once and done well, I always appreciate in any video game. And here we'll be heading into the hardest part in this game. It's pretty difficult, even though by this moment in time I'm already good at it. But I remember the first time I've been here, it was really hard. This on rails segment, even though you're just more not really on rails segment, but I meant to say a turret segment. But yeah, there will be another turret segment later on in this game in Chapter 8 once you return here. But that one's actually pretty fun compared to this. Yeah, so you will see right now. So here we have it, the hardest part in this game, and it is a turret segment, which, when you really think about it, is something you really shouldn't see in a survival horror game, especially one like this. But it is here, so that's kind of weird. I think there are 3 reasons why this part in this game gets really difficult, and for starters, you see that number 85, that is how much your shield is, or pretty much your life in this segment of the game. And right off the bat, you are at a disadvantage because you are so low. You're not at 100%, so you are pretty much on edge right from the get-go. The second thing is that there are so many asteroids you got to keep an eye on, and one fatal slip would just pretty much kill you. And the third thing that makes it also difficult is that you can't really spam your turret, because if you do, you're gonna overheat and you're gonna have to cool down, which will take a couple of seconds to do, but still, that will be a matter of life and death if you do not keep yourself checked for if you overheat, which I will do in this segment, because, you know, you gotta keep an eye on the asteroids and that as well, and your life as well. So, which is weird because there's another turret segment just like this in Chapter 8 when you revisit this area in this game. But that segment's actually really fun to do because you're going to be fighting a boss, and it's the exact opposite of this fight here with these asteroids. It's because that's fun and this isn't. So yeah, that's really weird.
we're clear, I'll engage the autopilot again. Head to the tram station, and I'll meet you there when I'm done.
Wait! Isaac Hammond, you're not gonna believe this. Oxygen levels are falling. Something's poisoning hydroponics air production, and whatever it is, it's filling the deck up with that organic stuff. We're not going to have any air to breathe soon. But if I understand these lab reports correctly, I think I can make a poison to destroy it. Head to medical. It should have everything you need.
Will this never end? Isaac, get to medical and mix together whatever Kendra's come up with. I'm heading to hydroponics. If I can slow it down, that might keep us breathing long enough to fight it.
And that's pretty much it for Chapter 4, and I really enjoyed the chapter, except for that turret segment, which, you know, it's pretty hard, but I get over it. As you can see, I am putting on my new suit number 3, which, as everyone probably guessed, it's the iconic Isaac Clarke suit with the whole 3 slots on his helmet. However, to me, it just looks weird having those 3 slots on his helmet, but I get used to it. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it I have to say for Chapter 4, and I will see you all in Chapter 5. So, yeah. See you then.